guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're not a subscriber yet, please hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoy our content, please hit the like button. Today she's going to show you how to make kousa mahshi, which is basically Middle Eastern traditional dish, which is stuffed zucchinis. Some people from other parts of the world may call it dolmas. It's known as dolmas. We just call it as it is. For zucchini, we just call it zucchini, stuffed zucchini, which is basically kousa mahshi. And it's basically, this version is tomato based. It's cooked in a tomato based sauce, stuffed with rice and minced lamb. So she's using the white Middle Eastern zucchinis and some homegrown eggplants or aubergines, whichever one you want to call it. And the smaller the better. So for this dish, you'd want to get small ones. You don't want them too large. Otherwise, it would just be eating rice. It's not a rice dish. It's a zucchini dish with rice stuffed on the inside of it. And now let's get into it. So this is the process to hollow out the zucchinis. So you cut off the head of it and just a little bit off the base, and then you measure. So this is a special tool used to core out basically the zucchinis. You measure the distance, so you don't go right through it, and you put your finger on the distance just before the end of the zucchini, and you basically a picture's worth 1,000 words. There you go.
Gotta take everything out.
Make sure you take everything out. And this is how good of a cook you are. The thinner it is, the better the cook is, apparently. This is how they used to judge a good wife back in the day, by the thinness of the zucchinis.
Am I good then?
Yeah, no, you're excellent. So basically you want to show off your skills on how thin you can make it. And that's basically it. And keep repeating the process, and that's how you prepare the zucchinis before the stuffing process. Okay, you can see how thin it is. You can even see how the light is penetrating through from the external walls. That takes a bit of skill, but you don't have to get it this thin, just the base. And when you're done, make sure you wash the inside to remove any leftover, internals out of it, and put it back in its position with the rest of its mates, and let it drain and dry off. So for each kilo of kousa, of zucchini, or any vegetable that you're using, you need 1 cup of rice. This is just a short grain rice that's been thoroughly washed. It's been washed very well. Okay, so now she's preparing the minced meat mixture. So when it comes to the minced lamb, it's a matter of taste, depending on how meaty you like it. But generally speaking, she uses about for every cup of rice, which is about 300 grams of minced lamb for every cup of rice, which is every kilo of zucchini, basically, on average. But if you don't like it too meaty, you can reduce. You can even do it all vegetarian. I mean, there's no problem with that at all. So if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you can just do it without any meat. There's no dairy products. She did put some ghee now. She's toasting the pine nuts in ghee, but you can use substitutes such as vegetable oil or even olive oil.
If they want, they don't have to add pine nuts, but it's nice also.
Yeah, that's if you don't have any pine nuts, it's not necessary. You can add any sort of nut, or if you don't like nuts, don't even add nuts. But traditionally, it is made with pine nuts. These are Lebanese pine nuts. Very expensive out here as well. What is it going for a kilo these days?
100 and something. And that's the cheapest you can get.
The cheapest kilo you can get is what, $150 or so? 150 Australian dollars. It's bloody gold. It's very, very expensive. This particular Lebanese pine nuts. But if you're a Lebo, you have to get the Lebanese pine nuts, apparently. Okay, so you just toast the pine nuts for a little while until they become nice and golden brown. Okay, so once the pine nuts have toasted, you can see their color is nice and golden now. You drop the minced lamb. Okay, so once your meat has browned off, you season it with a pinch of salt
Generously, but that's the inside.
and a generous amount of pepper. So generously season it with salt and pepper, because this is basically going to flavor the stuffing, which is the inside of the zucchini. And that's your minced lamb done. You can see it's nice and browned off. All the pine nuts are nicely toasted. And then you bring it straight to the rice bowl and you add it on top of your rice. Now you mix it well together. Okay, now it's time to stuff the zucchinis.
So you basically have to stop, and then you have to shake it down.
Yep, so you have to compact every time you put a bit of a rice mixture. Make sure you shake it to compact all the rice inside of it.
And you stuff it.
And then you pack it in.
Yeah.
And basically, this is your indication to stop up to the first joint of your pinky.
This one.
That's it. So that you have to allow for the expansion of the rice, otherwise it will explode on you.
Yeah.
So don't fill it all the way to the right to the mouth.
And you put it in a pot.
And you put it in its place in the pot, and then you start on the second one. Speedy Gonzalez. Then you get your tape measure out. A bit more before you get the tape measure. That's your tape measure there, which is your pinky. At the start, the first joint of your pinky, that's the indication to stop. And you follow the same routine for the eggplant. Same rules apply for it.
But this one, you close it with anything?
Since the eggplant has a bigger cavity, bigger opening than the zucchini, then you cork it, you plug it off with a piece of potato.
Yeah.
And that'll keep the rice from coming out. Okay, now it's time to start on the sauce. So first you add the passata. You can skip it, but it gives it the extra depth.
It's not tomato paste.
A few tablespoons of tomato paste.
Two now, and then we'll do it.
We'll start with 2, and then she'll adjust it later if needed.
And you need to cover it with water,
And then cover it to the top with water.
and then let it come to a boil on high heat, and then adjust the heat for medium.
And bring it up to a boil on high heat. And then you reduce it to medium.
Yeah, some salt and pepper.
And season it with some salt and pepper. And this is the final product, guys. How long has it been on the stove?
Half an hour.
About half an hour. So after it comes up to the boil, then drop it to medium. Half an hour later, and you're done. Nice and steaming hot. Absolutely delicious. And you put the soup, the tomato soup, the broth that it was cooking in a separate bowl. And then you would pick whichever zucchini you want, put it in your own bowl, drop some tomato soup on top, and just dig into it. Absolutely delicious. It's a must try dish. Again, it seems technical, but it's not really. It's a dish that must be tried to appreciate how simple and delicious it is. And if you like what you're seeing, guys, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. There it is, guys. You can see how it's nicely cooked inside out, and you just hydrate it with that beautiful tomato-based sauce, and you send it in. Absolutely